Hello again, Gills fans. Welcome back to Gills in the Blood TV. It is a quick turnaround from our last episode, certainly by recent month standards anyway. Please, if you've not checked out our latest video, which was recorded with Gabe Sutton of the Football Lab last Wednesday and put online on Thursday, talking all things Gills, the summer so far, the signings that we'd made up until that point, what we still needed, Steve Evans, the football club as a whole, general chat about football, trying to deal with a pandemic. It is well worth a listen, perhaps more so listening to Gabe than me, because you probably get bored of me. But yeah, please go and check it out. It is available on the YouTube channel. So yeah, like I say, quick turnaround. Since that was published middle of last week, we have signed not one, not two, not three, but 4 new players. We have played a proper football match as well. This is not a drill. Do not adjust your sets. Saturday afternoon, 1:30, was our first pre-season friendly of the summer. So we'll have a look at that, and then we'll talk about those 4 new additions. Like I say, Saturday afternoon, away to Colchester, empty ground, no fans allowed in because of COVID still, unfortunately, but between them, the Gills and Colchester, they managed to get a stream out, which was free to Gillingham season ticket holders, so I took advantage of that and watched it on my telly via my laptop. It was weird, there was no commentary. We've obviously got used to football behind closed doors in terms of the Bundesliga and the Premier League that's been on in recent months. But there's been commentary, there's been artificial crowd noise. This was stripped right back. It was just one camera, the sound of the wind, the sound of the coaching staff on both sides shouting, and no commentary at all. But it was great to be watching the boys in action. There's been a few new arrivals, like I've said, and they were all taking part at various parts of the game. First half, I thought we started quite slowly, which was understandable considering it's been 5 months or more since we kicked a ball in anger. The squad has changed completely since that fixture at Sunderland. We've lost a lot, we've bought in a lot. We've bought in a lot more since. But yeah, just thought we was a little slow out of the traps. That's understandable, like I say. Colchester had played competitive games much more recently than us. They played a 2-legged playoff semi-final in June, I believe, which they unfortunately lost. But yeah, once we settled down, I thought we bossed the first half. I thought we were really good, considering the amount of new signings, having to gel together, considering the fact that none of them have played competitive football of any nature for so long. Yeah, and the first goal was really, really good. I managed to miss the build-up. You'd have seen on my Twitter feed, because my 6-year-old daughter decided she wanted a packet of crisps during the first half. She had already had lunch. So I walked back in to see Stuart O'Keefe. Eventually we found out it was him. We had 4 or 5 guesses. I think Jacob Mellis was one nomination, Connor Ogilvie, Brandon Hanlon. But it was Stuart O'Keefe that scored the first goal with a smart finish, and it was an assist for Brandon Hanlon, who I will briefly talk about. Still hasn't signed a new deal, but still hasn't officially gone. I believe the club have offered not 1 but 2 offers in terms of new terms, and Brandon's mulling that offer over, so fingers crossed we can keep him on board. People know, watching this channel and speaking to me on Twitter, that I rate Brandon quite highly, and I wouldn't want him to move on and then come back to bite us on the backside, so to speak. But he was involved in the first goal and provided the assist. I thought we generally had a really good 70 minutes. And yeah, we went in at half-time 1-0 up. I think the 3 standouts for me in that first period were probably the middle 3. It looked like we'd lined up in a 4-3-3/4-5-1 formation, depending whether we was in or out of possession. And I thought that the middle 3 of Stuart O'Keefe, Matty Willock and Jacob Mellis were all really, really good in there. Provide flexibility. Matty gets about the pitch really well. Jacob Mellis, technically probably the best of the 3, and Stuart O'Keefe is going to do the dirty side of things. He'll see it, he'll break up play, and then he'll get us on the front foot and give it to those that hopefully throughout the season can go and create and provide creativity and give us some goal scoring opportunities. So really impressed with that. I thought generally, like I say, since after the first 5 minutes, first 10 minutes when we didn't really get going, I thought we were the better side, and I think we deserved to lead at the interval. There was 4 changes at the break for Dane Oliver, Matty Willock, Jacob Mellis and Trey Coyle, sorry. It's new signings. I've just wrote initials on my notes. I couldn't remember who it was. They all made way, and in their place came on John Akindi, Alex MacDonald, Henry Woods and Jordan Graham. and it looked like we set up as a 4-4-2 that second period. So Brandon went right up top with Big John Akindi. Jordan Graham played from the left, Alex McDonald from the right, and the middle pairing was Stuart O'Keefe and young Henry Woods. And I thought we were absolutely superb second period. I thought we kept them at arm's length. We didn't really let them get in behind. I don't remember Jack Bonham having to make a save of real note. We scored early again. Sorry, not again, but we scored early. That settled us down, gave us a buffer of a 2-goal cushion, and it's another really good goal. Ball's played in from the wide on the right. I think might have been Jordan Graham with the set piece, and Brandon Hanlon shows great awareness, peels off his man at the far post. He's then intelligent enough to clip a ball back into the middle of the 6-yard box, and Conor Ogilvie has a tap-in, which he was never going to miss from about 3 or 4 yards. And yeah, after that, like I say, we managed the game really well. We probably saw out 15 minutes where Colchester had more of the ball, but without really creating a clear-cut chance or without really threatening to get in behind us and cause us any real problems. Didn't overstretch us at all at any point in the game. And we were unlucky not to add a third. Jordan Graham with a delicious free kick that crashed against the crossbar with the keeper. It looked like beaten. But yeah, then came the raft of changes. We had a lot of kids on the bench. The game became bitty last 20 minutes because of all the substitutions. But the one that stood out for me in terms of the younger members was a lad that had been released. And then Steve Evans and Paul Rayner said they wanted him back in. And that was Toby Bancroft. And he come on for the last 20 minutes for Brandon Hanlon and played alongside or slightly off of John Akindi. And I thought he was really good in terms of his work rate. Closed everything down. Didn't let their keeper or their centre-halves play out from the back. Harassed the fullbacks. With the ball, he kept it simple. He got it, he gave it, then made himself available again. And I thought it was a really promising showing from a young lad who still trying to make his way in the game. And it might be one that we keep an eye on throughout the season. I'm not saying he's going to be a regular in the first team squad, but with us having to run with a smaller squad because of everything that's gone on in the world over the last 5 months and finances being tight around the game, him and Henry Woods could have a part to play at some point. So really impressed with Toby for 20 minutes and fingers crossed he gets more games throughout pre-season. I know we've got another game Tuesday night that has been mentioned, but I don't know who against. Don't know whether it's going to be made available to watch. Fingers crossed it is, because it'd be nice to have another look at the lads and the new signings who we'll get onto in a second. But just to sum up that game and finish up, Stuart O'Keefe was man of the match for me. Thought really, really good. Bossed things from the middle of the park. Like I say, kept it simple, kept us ticking over, broke up play, stopped them from running at our back four, and capped it off with a really good goal as well. And I think he's probably in prime position to be captain for next season, isn't he? Right though, like I said, 4 new signings since I spoke to Gabe on Wednesday. A couple of them have been mentioned briefly because obviously they featured on Saturday, but we'll do it in date order. So we'll go all the way back to Wednesday evening. It was mentioned between me and Gabe because it was tweeted by Peter O'Rourke that it looked like it was a done deal, and that was Jordan Graham, Peter O'Rourke. Jordan Graham arrived Wednesday afternoon on a free transfer. He was released by Wolves at the end of May. We'd had him on loan back end of last season. Didn't see enough of him because of the fact that everything got locked down after him only being here for 5 weeks. But what we did see, there were some real flashes of what we could come to expect, and that's drop of the shoulder, drag backs, chops as he likes to call them, getting to the byline and delivering good balls into the box. And as I mentioned, I think in talking to Gabe, the one at Southend stood out back end of last season where he dropped his shoulder and got on the outside of the fullback from the right hand side and stood up a really good ball for Conor Ogilvie to head home. So really exciting signing for me. Credit to the chairman, credit to the chief exec, credit to Steve Evans and Paul Rayner for persuading him to come down and play in League One. Believe there might have been interest from higher up in the Championship, certainly higher up in our division. So kudos to all those involved to get Jordan Graham in. He speaks really well, comes across really mature, still only 25, very humble, directly involved in a goal every 3 games in his career that has been stop-start due to injury, but had a decent spell at Oxford at this level. Was very good for Wolves for a period in the Championship before Kenny Jackett left, and then I think Nuno Espirito de Santo came in and wanted him to play as a wing-back. Listened to that Jackie Oatley podcast with him on last week, which was a really interesting listen. And like I say, he's not bitter about the way it ended at Wolves. He sees now as a new opportunity to push on and kick on as high as he can again. And I'm really excited about seeing Jordan Graham play sooner rather than later, hopefully. The second one through the door was Thursday. This was a lad who was involved in the first goal at the weekend indirectly, and that's Trey Coyle. Second player to arrive on loan for a season from Arsenal in the Premier League. Did some research on him. Obviously, there's not loads in terms of first team football because there's been none. But he's highly rated in the Arsenal Academy. Had a very good season before last for the under-18s. Golden Boy nomination, no less, alongside Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka, which was interesting a little bit because he's not played a first team game, whereas the other two have been in around that squad for a while now and played quite a few games at senior level. But obviously highly rated, and it'd be great to see how he adjusts along with Zech Medley to senior football and regular games at this level, because he'll have to learn quickly. He'll get kicked up in the air plenty, and fingers crossed he keeps bouncing back up and continuing to run at defenders, because he's been described as pacey and direct. Spoke to the Arsenal youth blogger again, who said that his best position's from the right. He's improving his finishing, his delivery's really good. So it's another exciting signing, gives us versatility in attacking areas, and something that could prove to be very astute as the season moves on. Number 3 was Friday, and that was another versatile player. Alex MacDonald, 30 years old, started out as a winger, but has developed his game so he can now play central midfield. And I think I read over the weekend that Steve Evans and Paul Rayner do see him as someone who can come in and potentially replace Mark Byrne, who decided to move back to Ireland. Will provide experience with his age. He's going to be one of the senior members of the squad looking at it at the moment. Yeah, and looking at his stats, they stand up. He's played in League One. He's played a lot of football at the top end of League Two. Played under Steve Evans at Mansfield in their decent side that was challenging for the playoffs and or promotion. Obviously had a bad season last season, but before that, like I say, was challenging in around the top half, the top 6, top 7, and played nearly 300 Football League games in his career. So vastly experienced, but still at a good enough age to offer us something. Whether he starts every week, we're not sure. We don't know, because obviously it's a brand new squad. But yeah, directly involved in a goal every 5 games throughout his career, whether that's a goal or an assist. So if you look at that, and he plays 50 games this season, he's going to be directly involved in 10 goals, which is something not to be sniffed at. So yeah, being interesting to see where he operates this one. Didn't know loads about him, I won't lie. There's a lot of research on this one, but Steve Evans says the fans will take to him because he'll always put in a shift. He'll never shirk a challenge. He'll never be found wanting for terms of work rate and trying. And I know a lot of people say, well, that's a given, he's a professional footballer, but you need people that are good off the ball as well as on the ball. So in that sense, I think it's a decent enough addition. And yeah, fingers crossed we see enough of him to show his full value. But yeah, this morning, Monday morning, it's unusual for Jill, so I don't know whether that indicates there's other stuff happening later on today, because we are recording at just after 12 midday. Kyle Dempsey arrived, no less, on a free transfer. For me, it's a phenomenal signing. I said Jordan Graham was the one that excited me the most in terms of pedigree at a good level. This is right up there, though. This is an astonishing piece of business for me, because all the rumours were that the likes of Hull City and Sunderland were after him because he's predominantly played in the north. Started off at Carlisle as a kid, had a really good time up there. I think won Player of the Year at 20 or 21. Went to Huddersfield, didn't really work out, but played in the Championship 20 or so times for them. Played and then went to Fleetwood, was really good at Fleetwood. He's been in the playoffs twice since 2016-17 with them. Hasn't got past the semi-final, unfortunately, but shows what a good footballer he is, that he's excelling at the top end of this division. Had a little spell under Steve Evans at Peterborough when he needed some game time. So obviously it's one that Steve's kept an eye on, one that Steve clearly rates, and if he's turned down the likes of Sunderland and Hull to come and join us, then for me it's probably the best signing of the summer so far. Spoke to Ben Natman briefly on Twitter today. Says he's an orthodox box-to-box centre midfielder, clever with it, will keep the ball really well, chip in with the odd goal, but probably needs to add a few more. I think that's something that Joey Barton said was holding him back a little bit, and why he came out the side at Fleetwood a few times, because he wasn't scoring enough for a player of his pedigree. But in terms of assists, he's very, very good. He's played nearly 250 times in his career, and he's only 24 years old. So averages 75 minutes a game, I think it is, throughout his career. So not missing much minutes due to suspension or injury, which is always a good sign as well. And yeah, phenomenal signing. Can't wait to see him play. I think blue suits him better than red or white or gold and black would have done, to be quite frank. And we're starting to build a really good squad. I think we've gone slightly under the radar, which is quite nice as well. And I don't think we're a million miles away now in terms of what we need to have that squad built. I think if we can get Brandon Hanlon tied down to a new deal, that'd be excellent news. I know some people don't rate him, and that's fine, but I really, really do. And I really think there's a really good League One footballer in there. So if we can get him tied down to a deal, I'd be really happy. If we could get in a bit more defensive cover, I'd be happy. Reece Bennett's the name that doesn't go away, but it seems to be dragging on for one reason or another. I think we've been linked with him now for about 307 months, it feels like. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. I think he'd provide good experience. As I said last week, and on another video, he can play right back as well as centre back. He's played nearly 100 games at the top end of League One in a good Peterborough side as well. So Brandon, Reece Bennett / a centre half, and then if we could get a left back and a right back in to provide competition in them areas, then I think we're probably set. Someone for me like Tommy O'Connor would be brilliant if we could get him back in, play left back, which was then mean that if we did sign one centre back, Connor Ogilvie could be the fourth centre back, so to speak. So we're doing, you know, a lot of players that are doubling up, which means we should be covered without having to have a huge squad. So yeah, Tommy O'Connor would be ideal for me. Can play midfield as well. Excelled in a diamond for us last season if we want to go down that route. Yeah, so I think we're probably 3 or 4 away from having a really, really good squad for this division. And I'm trying to rein the excitement in a little bit, but it's hard when we're signing the players in the pedigree of Carl Dempsey and Jordan Graham specifically, and the two lads from Arsenal. I think it's a sign that, and this is no disrespect to previous managers that we've had recently, but I think there's absolutely no chance that a Steve Lovell or an AD Pennant would be able to sign a Carl Dempsey, a Jordan Graham, would be able to have contacts sufficient enough to go and get people on loan from Premier League giants in Arsenal. Let's not make no bones about that. They're a massive club still. They're in the doldrums at the moment, but they're still a huge club in England. And like I say, that's no disrespect to AD or Steve Lovell, but we're suddenly shopping in a different market, aren't we? You look in previous windows, we're signing people that have, you know, not been offered deals at other clubs. We're sort of shopping in the bargain basement, so to speak, but suddenly we've got people coming in that are rejecting other teams, rejecting new contracts with their clubs, like Verdane Oliver. And if it is true that people are turning down the likes of Sunderland and Hull City to come and play for us, then it bodes really well moving forward for the new campaign. And I'm very excited to see us in action a bit more, whether that's on a screen or in a football ground. Fingers crossed it will be in a football ground sooner rather than later. I know I keep saying that I'll see you in a ground sooner rather than later, but I really hope I do get to see people, because I've missed everyone that we talk to at games, and I've missed going to football, that match day routine of getting up and being excited about a football match and going believing that we can win football matches. And looking at what we're building at the moment, I think there's going to be a lot of games where we're going to be going to and being excited and believing that we can win. And I think we might be a dark horse. There you go, I've said it. I've not done a full season preview yet. I'll give that another couple of weeks until we're closer. I've done a loose kind of table prediction so far, and it has us, go on, I'll tell you, 8th. I've got us 8th at the moment, but that was before we signed Carl Dempsey, and we might bring more in, so that'll probably change. Other teams will bring more in, so that might change them as well. But yeah, I'm very excited about what's happening, what we're building, and I can't wait to see how it develops and how it moves forward. Right, enjoy your day, people. It feels like we're a lot closer to seeing our football club again, doesn't it? Fingers crossed the friendly on Tuesday night will be played on a stream again and we can all watch it from afar. Keep staying safe. Remember to check out Fan Hub, who always put fans first. Go and check them out. They're on Twitter. They're developing an app that means you can track when you go to games. You can track your miles travelled throughout the season, log where you've been to, what stadiums you've visited, and build it up and build up your own sort of profile of how you work as a football fan, and then you can be rewarded with points and prizes. So go and check them out. It's in the development stage, but it looks very exciting. I will put their link thumbnail at the end of this video. We'll be back soon, hopefully in a few days. Maybe there'll be another game review of Tuesday night's game if I get to watch it in full. Have some more transfer incomings as well. But until next time, up the Gills.